Dad has some goofy ties that you think would look better on an egg, then this is the way to go.
We're gonna be making silk dyed eggs, which is basically where you take a tie, cut it up, you wrap it around the egg, wrap some of this white cloth around that, and then you put it in the pot and let it boil. It gets this cool pattern on it like this.
First when you said tie, I thought you meant necktie.
It is a necktie. I have lots of ties.
Oh, so we are talking about neckties. All right.
We're talking about neckties. Basically what you're gonna do is you get to choose a tie. They do have to be 100% silk ties to transfer to the egg. I think that the ugliest ties make the better eggs, especially ones with like small intricate details and really vibrant colors.
So you say ugly, but I think this is in now.
So I'm gonna go ahead and choose one to do.
Oh, definitely this one. So you bought these?
Yeah, I actually got them from Goodwill.
Goodwill.
If you want to find cheap ties, that's definitely the place to go.
And he's a little overpriced for this tie.
All right, and you're just gonna take your scissors, cut the tag off, or rip it off, your choice. First thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna cut down the seam right here.
Wow,
Once you get started cutting, you can kind of just pull it. It's pretty easy.
I'll be honest, I've never taken apart a tie before. So this is what's inside a tie, in case anyone was curious. Do we need the whole tie?
No, you're really just gonna use the first, like, where the biggest section is. It'd be a piece of fabric big enough to cover the whole egg.
Gotcha. So how long does this take?
It's pretty quick.
This is the longest part.
This is the longest part, yeah. Wrapping it around the egg and stuff. But once you get in the pot, you just relax. So you're gonna wanna separate it from this little piece of fabric right here.
Gotcha.
Every once in a while, it'll be the same fabric as the tie though, if you get lucky, and then you can use that. Get to be aggressive.
Might have ruined it, but we're good.
And then I already cut these pieces of white fabric. So you can just take that and loosely see how big you want your tie fabric to be. I don't have any exact measurements or anything. You can just try wrapping it around your egg and see what works.
Does it matter if you use the inside or outside?
So it's the outside of the tie. You're gonna want the egg to go in there. And then for your eggs, you wanna make sure they're white, and you wanna also make sure they don't have any stamps on them. I know some egg distributor people like to put stamps on their eggs. And then you can do it two ways. You can either lay your egg like this, so it's kind of horizontal, and wrap it up. And that way your pattern will be on the long side of the egg. Or you could stick it in like this, where the round part is on the bottom and where it gets thinner at the top. And then you can wrap it up like this, and then your design will be more prominent on the bottom of the egg. I noticed that when I do it like this, or I do it more vertical than horizontal, I like the pattern better. I think it shows up better. Wrap it tight like this.
I'm not sure if my egg cracked.
Oh,
or if it's just the fabric.
Let's see it. It looks okay. It looks good.
I think we're good. All right, it was just the fabric.
I guess we'll find out. It's better to cut bigger pieces of fabric too, rather than smaller, because then they're really hard to wrap up, and if the pattern doesn't completely cover the egg, it won't look as good. It's better to make it bigger than smaller. You're just gonna wanna make it really tight with the rubber band. And then you're gonna need a thin piece of white fabric. I find that like pillowcases work really well, or sheets, whatever white fabric you have laying around. This is a pillowcase that I just cut up. And you're just gonna take it, put the egg in there. Now you have the white fabric around it too. I think it helps hold the dye in, so it doesn't like mingle with the other eggs.
And you've done this before, or just 10 minutes before we started this?
I did this a couple days ago. It didn't turn out like I wanted it to though. First of all, I got ties from like just a regular store. They weren't from a thrift store or anything. And also, it was really hard to find 100% silk that weren't like $1 million. And it was also hard to find ones with good patterns, so I ended up getting ones that had lame patterns, and I just didn't really like how it turned out. These are the ones I made 10 minutes ago. Pretty happy with them. And then you're gonna have a pot of boiling water. You're gonna wanna add 1/4 cup of white vinegar. Then you're just gonna pour it into your water, and you can plop those eggs in there. And you want it to be pretty covered. And since it's pretty hot, I'm just gonna turn it down to a simmer. These eggs are gonna sit in here for about 20 minutes before you take them out and put them in the colander to dry off.
Now we wait. All right, here comes the montage of just us chilling here with our phones.
Alarm is set. Okay, so once the eggs have been in the boiling pot for 20 minutes, you can take them out with some tongs. So they're gonna be nice and hot. You're gonna make a mess.
Just a slight mess.
Okay, and then you're gonna give them a couple minutes to cool down just a little bit.
All right, are they cool enough?
Yeah, they should be fine. They've been out for a while.
Not sure which one was mine.
I think that one was yours and this one was mine. You're gonna cut it open or just take the rubber bands off. I find it easier to just cut them open. If you're impatient like me, it works better. You can kind of see how the white cloth caught the coloring.
Looks perfect.
Let's see. Ooh, mine turned out pretty cool.
It looks almost tie-dye.
It does. You can see it has white swiggles where the silk wasn't perfectly on it, but I think it looks cool. That one looks really cool too.
Majority of the bottom where it was actually like touching,
yeah,
that turns out a lot better than where it was kind of folded over, but overall,
looks pretty.
These are the most interesting Easter eggs that I've ever colored.
Fun,
yeah,
and it's
cool.
pretty easy too.
No, yeah, yours came out a lot better with this like dark color.
Yeah, the dark color is pretty cool.
What color was this?
It was like
just
a
red
burgundy
or
kind of. It was a very dark burgundy, because this one was pretty dark too, but it wasn't burgundy.
Yeah, this one works out really well. Mine, it was kind of a purple, and you can kind of see it. But yeah, really cool effect for sure.
I think with regular Easter eggs, it's not as fun because you only get like one color. You can do like the half and half, but it's a pain, and like I think it's easier to get better results this way.
Yeah, I found that doing normal Easter eggs, especially if you have like crayons, from what I remember when I was younger, like you'd kind of like make a design and then dip it in like a vinegar coating with a certain like dye, and then it would come out with a cool design. But this is also interesting if you have maybe some old ties of your grandparents, or her dad has some goofy ties that you think would look better on an egg.
Right.
Then this is the way to go. Are there any other like techniques you can use other than ties, or is ties like the only option?
I was actually looking at a technique where you take like a big like glass pan or something, or like a metal pan, and you just spray shaving cream in it, like foam shaving cream. Then you put dye, like little drops of dye in it, like food dye or whatever, and then you take gloves and just put your hands in there and roll the egg around in it, and it gets like a really cool like tie-dye color like that too. So
that's
actually a lot of cool ways to dye eggs.
We should have done that. And how long did it take again? Like 20 minutes?
Yeah,
cool.
And then they don't take long to cool at all. Really, once you get them out, the cloth cools down very quickly, so it's about 2 or 3 minutes before you can just unwrap them.
And these are all hard-boiled?
They are all hard-boiled. Probably wouldn't recommend eating them because we don't know what kinds of dye are in the ties.
I think the question everyone wants to know, what does it look on the inside?
I think you should open it. Oh, looks like a hard-boiled egg.
Just a normal hard-boiled egg on the inside, but the shell looks really cool.
It'd be cooler if it was edible. I think it would be fun for kids. I'm sure they would love this, but I feel like it also targets an older age group as well, for people who want something more like perfected and like easy to do, and just something that you can throw together and just have like these really cool results. You don't have to be artistic. You just get some ties, cut them up, boil them, and you got pretty eggs.
Yeah, no, this is definitely interesting. I've never heard of this technique before for dyeing eggs, but figure if you have any ties laying around that you're gonna take to Goodwill anyway, might as well just wrap them around some eggs, throw some vinegar into a pot, and why not make some cool textured eggs for Easter.
Just some variety in your egg dyeing life.